episode 8 of the Captain and the Real Deal podcast. Today's episode recaps the game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks that the Captain and the Real Deal just attended. They also will discuss how well they did predicting the other Week 3 games, as well as recapping the results from their Week 3 fantasy matchups.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Damen und Herren, it's time for the podcast featuring Captain Vuk and Billy Gold, aka The Real Deal. This is the only place that's talking Hawks and Kings, but to be specific, we're talking Seattle Seahawks and Minnesota Vikings. So strap up. We're taking you on a fantastic voyage, unlike any you've ever been on, so sit back and get ready to set sail to the emerald-rich lands of the Seattle Seahawks and the treasure-filled valleys of the Minnesota Vikings with your hosts, Captain Vuk and Billy Gold, aka The Real Deal. Let's get it.
Wow! Back from the trip!
Yes, sir.
Back from the trip. Welcome back, football fans. Scolders and the 12s, episode 8 of Captain and the Real Deal. Wow. What a trip to Minnesota. Wow.
Amazing.
All right, I'm Billy Gold, along with my co-host, Captain Vuk, and the Maverick. Our production engineer, Mike, Top Gun Cruise. Just like at the game, Cap.
You know it, brother. Fly by.
They buzzed the top of the stadium.
I think that was Top Gun doing it.
Mike, where were you this last weekend?
On the move.
All right, cool. We have another.
He's buzzing the tower again. I love it.
Can't get it in. All right.
I love it.
We got another great episode in store for you today as we're going to recap the game.
Yes, sir.
Between our teams, the Seattle Seahawks and the Minnesota Vikings, that we just returned from attending. We'll also discuss our fantasy football team results from the Week 3 matchups and also how we did in the predictions. As always, I suggest you fill up your solo cup with the beverage of your choice. Someday I will tell you mine. Sit back and get ready for another fantastic voyage. Hey, Cap.
What's up, brother?
We're back.
Yes,
you
we
ready to
are.
roll?
I'm always ready to roll. To the Scolders, playing Purple Rain by Prince when you score, somehow defying physics and making it snow inside of the stadium, summoning the Hall of Famer Carl Eller to get the crowd and the Vikings super hyped up by telling them the tale of Odin. I could go on, but I won't do it justice.
I got that. That's coming.
B-Gold will take the wheel on that, y'all, so just stand by. But until then, Scolders, respect was earned. I have to be honest and let you know that you earned a solid victory. You beat a good team, and you are a good team. I seriously hope we get a chance to meet again this year. That would mean that we both had a great season.
Yes, exactly. So that's playoffs, actually.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
So hopefully, depending on how it shakes out, I'd prefer it to be the winner goes to the Super Bowl. That'd be the highlight of this.
NFC Championship game. I'd love that, and I know you would too. So,
all right, let's talk about this trip. Oh my goodness! So our trip began with a flight out of Connecticut's Bradley International Airport at 6:15 a.m. The Cap showed up at my house at 3 o'clock in the morning,
ready to get it in.
And you know what? You know what we did on the way up there? We listened to one of our own episodes, and it was perfect timing. When we pulled into the place to park, the parking garage, the episode ended. It was episode 7, right, Cap?
That's affirmative, my man.
All right. So that was Saturday morning. We arrived in Minneapolis at about 8:15. Being that we landed so early, I thought we were in for a long, long wait to check into the Marriott Residence Inn Downtown Depot Hotel. We had a stadium tour booked for noon, and I figured we could drop off our luggage, grab some breakfast that we'd have to pay for, and then attend. Upon arriving at the airport, after we landed, we took our time collecting our bags, just trying to get rid of any time because we knew we were just way too early. And then we finally found a taxi, but we made a rookie mistake by taking the taxi. $55
Later.
to the hotel. On the way back, I revived my Uber app.
Fix that problem.
I didn't realize it was connected to PayPal, knucklehead, and it only cost us $29 to get back. So right out of the gate, we're out $26. But hey, it is what it is. When we arrived at the Marriott, it was about 9:20 a.m., and we were shocked but thrilled that they checked us in right away to our rooms. And they also told us to go ahead and grab some complimentary breakfast as well. Who could beat that? We weren't supposed to get breakfast that day. Cap, who checked us in?
Grace, we promised we'd give you a shout out, and that's what we're doing right now. You were so nice to us and special, and you just took great care of B Gold and Captain Vuk, and we just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. That was a great time, and you got us off to a fantastic start.
Absolutely. By the way, Cap, a fantastic start to our fantastic voyage.
That's exactly right.
We like to use that phrase.
Oh, yeah.
So getting into our rooms so early gave us a chance to relax and provided us the option to change in comfort rather than going into a bathroom in a stall and trying to get in your suitcase and, get something else on. So it was really good. But I wanted to change prior to the stadium tour. So I had that opportunity. So I decided to go full out, and I wore my Minnesota Vikings suit. Had the Norseman logo jacket, awesome jacket.
You got a lot of attention.
Purple dress shirt, purple dress pants, along with my freshly painted purple shoes and a Stetson hat.
Vintage.
You can't make it up. If you want a picture of it, reach out to us.
You got to let them know. You got to be accessible to them, brother.
I can make that happen. The stadium is located 6 blocks from the hotel. But it took us 18 blocks to get there. Wow.
That's what we do. We cover ground. We cover ground.
We asked for directions and didn't follow them.
How you learn. Yep.
Lesson learned early in the trip. And by the way, after that, because I'll make a mistake once, but that mistake did not happen again.
That's true.
And there's some times where we might have walked 15 steps and said, nope.
This is not the way.
Exactly. All right. Upon arrival for the stadium tour, by the way, this is a new section we're adding. This is the real deal moment of the week.
Before you get to the real deal moment, B Gold, before we left the hotel, I want to talk about something special really quickly.
Absolutely. Have at it.
Before we left. So I didn't have toothpaste when I flew out. So I left it at the house. So I needed to go buy some. And about 9:35 in the morning, we're getting ready to head to the closest pharmacy, and in come a family of 3, a man, a woman, and a young boy. The young boy sees my gear and goes, Seahawks. I went over to him and asked if he was a 12, and it was soon confirmed that he was most definitely a 12.
A small 12, but he was a 12 nonetheless.
12. He was trying to bring it, though. And so we chatted with him and his family, his amazing family, and the young 12's name is Bridger. We promised we give him a shout out.
Shout out, Bridger.
Yes,
shout out.
Yes, sir.
Good man. Good man.
He's a good man. He's going to be a great man. His favorite player is Chris Carson, and he also has a special connection with Russell Wilson. We'll leave it at that, but it was a pleasure to meet you all. And I had to get that out before we got over to
the pool. A wonderful family. And, they... I'm not going to say they didn't look at me a little cross-eyed based on how I was dressed.
But they showed respect, though. They're very respectful
They
folks.
did. So now we're getting ready to leave for this stadium tour. And upon our arrival for the stadium tour, we were the last pair allowed in for the first of 2 groups assigned to this time slot. When we first got there initially, they wanted us to start the second group. But once I stepped inside, Cap was still checking in, and the staff saw my outfit. They moved us immediately into the first group. Why? Go ahead, Cap.
Tell him, man.
Because there was a Seahawk fan, his name was Fred, that also had on a team suit.
Shout out to Fred Strawn.
Yeah, shout out to Fred. So everyone in that group asked us to stand together. So when Cap walked in, me and Fred are standing together, and it was like the paparazzi around us just, it was a photo op central, right, Cap?
It's true. I mean, I got held up by security a little bit. Maybe my shoes were too big or something was wrong with my shoes. We'll talk about that later. But I get inside the door, and I'm like, what's up with all these people taking all these photos? And in the middle of it all, B. Gold, a.k.a. The Real Deal, and Fred Strawn representing the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm not sure B Gold was there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that was all the
just
real deal. No kidding. That was all the real deal.
You know, the B Gold might not have worn that outfit.
But it was epic, and it was another great moment on this trip.
Exactly. So the Cap and I ended up hanging out with Fred and his girlfriend for the remainder of the tour. You know, we did multiple photo ops together throughout the whole tour. Every time we got to some place, people were like, you know, can you guys get together to take this picture? So what I will say is the stadium tour is a must,
No question about it.
as it provides history of the stadium and the team, game day insights, visits to the clubs, suites, and much more. Takes about 90 minutes, but you know what? It didn't feel like 90 minutes, Cap.
No, and the one thing we couldn't do for COVID reasons was go inside the locker rooms, but they made up for that in
Getting us on the
platinum
field.
status.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they got us on the field. So, yes, no,
right.
exactly. That I had that note as well. No access to the locker rooms, but we were able to get on the field. Okay. After the tour. Actually, you know what? Let's give a shout out to the stadium store there. They did offer 10% to anybody who took the tour.
That's true.
But my suitcase was so stuffed with Viking gear. I almost had to pay extra money just to get my suitcase on board because I think I was at 49.5 pounds, and you're only allowed to go to 50 pounds.
And you almost bought a helmet. You almost bought a helmet still.
Exactly. Exactly. I think I had a cart full of goodies and had to leave it at the cash register because the Cap goes, where are you going to put all this stuff?
That was good stuff. Good
All
time.
right. On the way back, we're just, minding our own business, walking down the street. And we're yelling, screaming, and we turn around, and there's people running down the street. It was fans. They wanted to take photos with me and the Cap. Cap. I actually found a pair of, they were cool.
They were.
Cool sunglasses that had Seahawks colors. And I
solid.
texted Cap. I said, Cap, should I bring these for you? He said, absolutely. Cap had on his Seahawk bomber jacket.
Yes, baby. Yes, sir.
He had on a long sleeve Seahawks t-shirt
Underneath. That's
underneath,
it.
and he was
Represent.
rocking the colors with the Seahawk shoes.
Gotta get it in.
Yes, and a pair of what do we call them? Cargo pants.
Cargo's blue.
Blue cargo pants. So we were dressed for the occasion. They chased us down. Can you guys hold up? And Cap, who were they?
Well, there were two 12s and there was one Scolger. And I just know the one lady's name was Melanie, extremely nice. And it was her and her crew. And they just wanted to get a couple shots of the photos. And of course, we were going to oblige. Are you kidding me? And it was just another nice moment in this epic journey that we were on. It was,
You know
it was
what?
awesome.
Here, you know what? You just gave me another real deal moment of the week.
Kick it off.
Let's talk about it. Minnesota nice. I've heard that statement before, but I got to tell you, everybody in Minnesota, except for one chucklehead,
Yeah, one guy out of everybody.
he probably wasn't from Minnesota.
Probably not.
Everybody from Minnesota was super nice. Cap, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And this actually gives me a quick opportunity to mention my homeboy from St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Scotty Newman. I played ball with him in college. He actually drove, 45, 50 minutes?
Yes, he did.
Just to come spend a little bit of time with
Just
me.
to shake the real deal's hand.
Yep, never met him before, but I came and showed some love, and it was just great to see you, Scotty. And
Yeah, he wasn't there for me, Cap. I'm just throwing
that's my guy though. Bobcats stick together, and it was great for him to make that trip. So let's move on.
No, we don't have to move on. We're not moving on. I got to give Scotty something. I got to tell you, Scotty. If when you check this out, I said to the Cap, "Hey, Cap, you think this guy, your friend, you think he put on like 35, 40 pounds, and when he shows up, you're going to say, man, he's not in game shape."
Tell him what I said.
Cap said, "You know what? Scotty was the fastest dude on the team, and this guy would never let himself go. He will be game shape ready. And you know what? Scott, you were.
Yep, he could have ran a 9 route, and we probably could have used it.
We will get to that.
But he's a soldier through and through, though.
Now, because of his age, he might only have been able to play 1 quarter.
That's okay.
But he was definitely he was primed.
Yeah, he's ready to go.
All right. So after the tour, we relaxed for a little bit before dinner. We looked around and we asked at the front desk, and we decided to go to Manny's Steakhouse. And, we said, let's go early. And luckily, we did.
And who recommended we go there, B Gold? Who said, you know what? What do you guys want to eat? Steak sounds good.
Yeah.
Who recommended that? Like, where were we? We were at the Marriott, brother.
Oh, so was it Grace?
No, it wasn't Grace. It was the other lady that we had seen every day after that. I didn't catch her name, but she was extremely nice also.
Oh, we asked a lot of questions at the front desk. They were like,
we did.
You want us to drive you guys there? And actually, it would have helped because we walked everywhere.
It would have helped.
There's sometimes
I wouldn't have had a wardrobe malfunction if
blisters. So good thing we got there at 5 p.m. or we would have never gotten in. When we arrived, dressed in our team colors, there was a lot of people outside that were in suits, ties, dressed to the nines, right?
Yeah.
And we're like,
Yep.
but it was a shared building. You had to go into this lobby before it broke off. So we were not sure we were dressing up to get in, but no issue. And we were seated immediately with the caveat that we needed to be done by 7. If you have ever witnessed me eat, and Top Gun has, even if the food arrived at 6:55, I would have been done with time to spare.
And he's never been in the military. How do you figure that out?
The food was phenomenal. But it was pricey. $114 for a king crab, $133 for a lobster. Our bill, including tip, was $360.
Worth every penny, though.
Ouch. I have that. I said, ouch.
Okay.
And then I followed that up with, however, I would do it again in a heartbeat every time I go there because you know what? You get what you pay for. And Manny's, 5 stars. Recommend everybody to get in there. Just don't go there with a $20 bill or you ain't getting much.
Yeah, that's true.
Cap, tell the audience out there about the Green Door.
All right. Well, first, let me give a shout out because I like to give a shout out to all these nice Minnesotans that I ran into. So if you do go to Manny's and you want to be treated, like B Gold said, with mega respect, have some laughs, and get a real tour of the menu of your choice, ask to be waited on by Gabby.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Gabby, you came through for us. You were a complete champ and helped make our visit very, very special.
Yep. Recommended the scallops.
Highly. And they were fantastic. And so the thing that I noticed about Minnesota was that there's a lot of stuff there that kind of reminds you of Seahawk life.
A lot of green.
So in order to even get into Manny's, you know what you have to do? You have to pass through a green door. A green door. How ironic is that?
Yeah, you can't make it up.
It's almost like you're going through a portal. So, hey, you know what? There might be some sort of a connection with Seattle and Minnesota that we don't know about. We're still exploring that.
Oh, no, we have some for later. I think one of the fun facts will tell us more about that later.
Let's hit it up because I got something else too.
Okay, so that really put a wrap on Saturday night, and we figured let's go rest up because we knew we had a big day in front of us. So, game day started the day with a hot breakfast at the hotel, which was included in our nightly rate. And I got to tell you, it was, it was okay. You got some eggs, you got some bacon, you got some sausage, a little oatmeal, some fruit.
Real hot coffee too.
Hot
Good
coffee.
hot coffee.
It was a good addition because we filled up on that, and then we knew we only needed, maybe one more meal or maybe 1.5 meals after that.
Yep, and good to go.
Game time was 3:30 Central Standard Time. So we arrived at the stadium at about 12:40, and because of the tour, we knew exactly that we needed to head over to the Pentair gate for entry. It was a beautiful, beautiful 82-degree sunny day. However, being stuck in the sun I had to abandon Cap in line
I was like, where's my guy at?
and go stand in the shade
Yeah, he
because
was
I had the
cool.
Norseman jacket on.
Yep.
But I, in my defense, I did walk over and said, Cap, are you okay? Do you want to switch positions?
I held it down.
He says, I'll hold the line, B Gold. Go get back in the shade.
I got you.
So I think we probably, because we got there at 12:40, they didn't open the gates for 2 hours prior to game day. So we were there a good 45 minutes. I think they finally opened it at like 1:25.
and then they kind of tricked us too.
They
remember?
tricked us because they opened a back gate behind us and people snuck in around us. But anyway, we were still very, very close to the front of the line.
We were good.
So once inside, we headed to our location for the game, the Medtronic Club. Oh, my goodness. It included our seats in section V8. Go figure, V8.
Beautiful.
How many people have had a V8?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Row 3, seats 3 and 4. The 49.5 yard line. We were at the 50-yard line. Unbelievable seats. Cap,
Yes, sir.
were you impressed with the seats?
It was the most beautiful opportunity to watch an NFL football game I've ever had. I've never had seats like that. I've been close to the action before, but I have never had the vantage point of being at the 50 like that, at that level.
Yeah, we didn't miss anything.
No,
we didn't miss anything.
missed nothing.
So the Medtronic Club ticket included great food, wine, and beer. The experience was worth every penny. And now the bar is set so high that I'm not sure I would sit anywhere else. Cap, would you sit anywhere else?
No. I'll say that real quick.
Good. Now I will say this: mixed drinks were not included, and they were a little pricey. As you will learn, or you're learning on this episode, I check the wallet every now and then, and I've learned that from my former boss, who I was looked up to, and if he's going to be a cheapskate, I'm going to be one once in a while too. Little pricey, $14 for a single and $24 for a double, but I'm really not a beer or wine guy, so I had to get a couple. Anyway, next to us, no one showed up for the seats 1 and 2, which gave us extra space. The row directly behind us also had no shows for seats 1 through 6. Nice. Extra programs, and they had Viking flags available that day.
That's right.
I mean, I walked out with what I could carry.
That wasn't you.
For you too.
That was the real deal doing that. That was the real deal. But yeah, I'm glad you got that, because there's a friend of mine that he's the first Minnesota Vikings fan I ever met, and he was my first roommate in college when I went to play football where I went. And I reached out to him and said, hey, man, I'm not going to use this Minnesota Viking flag. You want me to send it to you? He said, that'd be awesome. So I'm going to call him this weekend and send it to him.
All right. Arriving early helped us secure a table on the lower level of the Medtronic Club. This turned out to be priceless. Priceless. As people arriving late struggled to find a table. Wings, burgers, shrimp, rock crab legs, brisket, brats, hot dogs, double pork mac and cheese, wraps, pizza, salad. Nice spread. Nice spread. I couldn't even move. Yes, I could. After 1 hour, we surrendered our table and moved to our seats for the pregame warmups. Nice pregame segment on Odin. So, let's talk about Odin, the god of war, of wisdom, of magic. I did not know this. Odin. I'm going to get killed for this because in the Viking history, the Viking, I should know this. The father to Thor.
That's it.
Thor. Who doesn't know Thor? He was known as the all-time father. Odin is often accompanied by 2 ravens along with 2 wolves, and he rides into battle atop an 8-legged horse, and he wields the mighty spear. Gungnir. Odin.
He's not coming in to make friends.
He is not
He's coming in to dominate and take over something.
He's a one-eyed warrior. And that was a result of him having sacrificed that eye to drink from the well of Ur, which granted him an incomprehensible amount of knowledge of the universe. Was it worth it, Cap?
Let me just say this, okay? Never having that experiences to being in the U.S. Bank Stadium like that. And I knew who Carl Eller was, and what's the other gentleman's name? The other Hall of
Jim
Famer?
Marshall.
Jim Marshall. So when they're showing this video that these folks recorded, and he's talking about how when his defensive mates needed extra strength in the game, they would chant Odin, Odin. And what made this kind of freaky was the fact that as he's saying this, it literally started to do what in this stadium, B. Gold?
This is an indoor stadium, and it was snowing from the rafters.
And the snow it had a chill to it. I mean, it was beyond cool. Whoever's in charge of the engineering or what have you,
Yeah.
you did your thing.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
Now the only thing they didn't bring back from Metropolitan Stadium was the cold air.
Yeah, thank goodness.
When the snow was great.
Yeah.
But,
That was cool, man.
though when I was standing outside in that 82-degree sun, I would have liked maybe the cold weather in Metropolitan Field. So the next segment of the pregame was the Jallarhorn, and they brought Hall of Famer Randall McDaniel out to take care of business with the Jallarhorn. It was an awesome sight. Hall of Famer. Let's give him something. All right. So let's follow that up with right here. The U.S. fighter jets fly over. Here they go. They flew over the roof. And it was pretty awesome, Cap, right?
Hats off to the United States Air Force. Off the hook.
Okay, so that gets us through the... Cap, you have anything else before the pregame, before we actually get to the game?
No, just, just amazing build up to the game. I was in a really good mood, as were most of the 12s. There were good showouts by the 12s and Emerald Nation in the building. A lot of Scolders in the building, too. And let's just jump right into it.
What was your initial opinion of the first Skol chant live you've heard?
It was really cool, to be honest with you. That was something I'd seen from afar. And to watch those fans kind of rise up and get that going, it was cool. I have to admit it. It was cool.
All right, so we open the game. Seahawks, Vikings win the coin toss and deferred, and Seattle takes the ball, and they go on over a 4-minute drive, 79 yards, I think about 8 or 9 plays, and get a quick touchdown. And I'm saying to myself, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, but you know what? Early. Minnesota responded with a 7-play, 70-yard drive of their own to tie the score. Seattle gets the ball back. 11 plays. A lot of yards, but they only came away with a field goal. So felt good about that. We were 3 and out on the next drive. Gave it back to the Seattle Seahawks, and what do? A 70-plus yard drive and 6 or 7 plays. And Minnesota's down 17-7. And I'm going, are you kidding me? After 2 heartbreaking losses, this is how I got to start the game? That's going to keep me on the edge of my seat the rest of the day, feeling like I'm looking at 0-3. However, the Vikings responded. Cousins threw 3 touchdown passes before halftime. And he also, throughout the rest of the game, did 3 clock-draining field goal drives. As the Vikings, though, Cap kept saying, do you feel comfortable yet? And I was like, no, this is the Vikings. The Vikings, I wrote the word cruised, but I didn't feel cruised. 30-17 victory was our first win over Seattle in 12 years. It was a really good offensive performance.
It was a great offensive performance. We've had a lot of streaks broken lately, not in our favor. And again, this was a situation where we did not play a full game. We had a decent first half, and the second half arrived, and we did not show up in the way we should have. And it's very frustrating. We're never comfortable to them. The clock is at 0. And hats off to Minnesota. I mean, they picked our secondary apart because we had no pressure on Kirk Cousins.
1 sack.
So
once you guys had 1 sack, we had 2 sacks. So
yeah, you can't win. And any NFL quarterback, you can't let them stand there because they will carve you up.
Especially,
they will carve you up.
If that's one highlight of Cousins, is that if you give him the time, build a pocket around him, He has a good arm.
And you said that, and he showed that.
Yeah. So before the game, the night before, we learned that Dalvin Cook was not going to play. And I'm saying to myself, I flew to Minnesota. I'm going against a top-rate team, and now you're taking possibly the best player on our squad out? Ugh. Anyway, we have a serviceable, better than serviceable backup in Alexander Madison.
I'll be ready to speak on that, young man.
And he toted the rock. He stepped in and racked up 171 total yards. 18 rushes for 76 yards in the second half. So, Alexander stepped up, Cap. Well, you got something for him? Oh, you can go ahead, throw it in there now.
Listen, I got to give a tip of the cap, and this is coming from the cap. So I have to give both of them. I have two of them, and I'm giving them both to Vikings. As painful as that may be, but I got mad respect for what both of these individuals did. So as B. Gold said, Alexander Madison came off the bench, although I'd argue easily that he could start for a lot of teams in the NFL right now. He comes off the bench behind the great and electric Dalvin Cook, one of my favorite players, and does some cooking of his own. He was given a rock 26 times, and you know what he did with that rock, B. Gold?
He did a lot.
He chewed up 122 yards, and he made it look really easy. Sadly, he was going up against my beloved Hawks and my defense. He also caught 6 balls for 59 yards, further contributing to the successful ball control demonstration that his team put on throughout the entire day. Painful for me, but the Vikings players and the soldiers sure seem to be enjoying that. Now, my second tip of the cap, and this is on me, but it's Justin Jefferson. I made the mistake of asking you last week in episode 7 about where he's been. I hadn't
Thought he was quiet.
Hadn't heard his name lately. You know what? My bad, JJ. I saw you up close and personal repping the Bayou State and the Soldiers. And honestly, when he ran off the Viking ship that dropped him and his teammates off into the battle zone, the way he came out, they had the big screen on him. I already knew he was ready to go. I could tell, and I can tell. He was ready to rock and roll inside a U.S. Bank Stadium, and the snow didn't even bother him. He was ready. And as you heard, like Beagle said, and I did earlier, it was really snowing in that stadium. So to the production engineer, like I said, in charge of that effect, and this is a shout out to you, Top Gun. Gustiest move I ever saw, man. It was a heck of a deal. So those are my two tips of the cap, B Gold, and I'm complete now, bro.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to throw in one, even though it's supposed to be the real deal moment of the week. I'm going to throw a tip of the cap, not from the cap. Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was pretty good.
Yeah, respect.
30 for 38, 323 yards.
Respect.
His third consecutive turnover-free game. How often does that happen?
Not often.
And they converted 9 of 14 third downs. Cousins has been locked in over the 3 games. He's trusting it. He's trusting the throws. A big part of that is the O-line and the way they're blocking. These guys have been getting killed for years. And I'm hoping we've turned the corner. They gave him enough time just to sit back there and make his reads.
And he did it, sadly. Painful to watch because can't get off the field on third down. But
exactly. This game definitely, Cap, had a little Viking vengeance feel to it. And I'll tell you why. Because it was the first time the Vikings beat Seattle with Pete Carroll as coach and Russell Wilson as quarterback, having lost on the road in each of the last 3 years. And again, the losing streak was at 7. Last season, Alexander Madison, who was again filling in for Dalvin Cook, was stopped for no gain on 4th and 1 at the 6-yard line with 1:57 seconds left, and the Vikings leading by 5 points. You guys took the change of down possession, and Russell Wilson drove the Seahawks the other way for the winning touchdown. So I feel like there was a little vengeance pent up.
yeah, a little reverse medicine delivery on that one.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, Wilson had a pretty good game.
He did.
23 for 32, 298, and a touchdown pass to DK Metcalf. And Chris Carlson was also serviceable, 12 times for 80 yards, and a second quarter score.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the fact that we had the ball for 23 minutes and what we did with it on offense, pretty impressive. You know, the defense, again, if you can't get off the field, you're going to make your life miserable. And that's what ended up happening.
Exactly. And your kicker, Jason Myers, who's on my fantasy squad, he did go wide left, ending his team record streak of 37 straight field goals made. That was the 4th longest in NFL history.
Yep.
So
another bad luck streak broken, you know, with our squad this year. But we're ready to bounce back.
And you guys, you know, it was a story of of 2 halves. You only had 81 total yards after halftime.
That's right.
So
Can't do that.
yeah, right now we both sit at 1-2. We're I think third in the division. I think you guys might be at the bottom.
We're sitting on the bottom right now, but we
Against
won't
us.
be there long.
It's a stacked NFC West, so
It is. Can't make many mistakes.
yeah, right now in quite a bind. But yeah, there's always you guys have a history of doing the resurgence to get back to contention.
That's right. We will fight.
Okay, good. So let's talk about the loud environment. This was Seattle's first season regular visit to US Bank Stadium since it was opened, and they were met with pent-up noise from a crowd that had to wait 21 months to see their team at home, and they also had plenty of extra time to tailgate before the game because it was a late afternoon start. The stadium, Cap, was it rocking?
It was rocking. No, it was absolutely a fun, festive environment. Whole lot of purple in there, enough emerald green in there, and everybody was ready to rock and roll.
That's right. And Fred, who we met at the tour, came back with a secondary outfit the second day, which included the face paint and all. I tell you, if I had wore the face paint and we were standing in that 82 sun,
Another photo op.
I don't know, but if I had wore the face paint, it would have melted all over me.
Oh yeah, outside. Not if you stay in the shade though. You might make it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty hot.
Yeah, it was hot though. You have to do that in the bathroom once you get inside.
Exactly. But I would have needed some kind of template to put over my face to get that on that. We needed to eat. We needed to get a table and eat.
Yeah, you don't want to come out looking like the Road Warriors.
Okay. So let's have fun fact number 1.
I know you're gonna dig this.
In 1985, Pete Carroll was hired as a defensive back coach for the Minnesota Vikings. It was also the year that Bud Grant came out of a 1-year retirement to once again become the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Bud Grant, he loved to test people throughout his coaching career in unconventional ways. That year, he sent Pete Carroll and the new running backs coach, Mark Trestman, out to meet the officials, and he instructed them not to shake hands with them. Pete and Mark went out, had their pleasantries with the officials, and the officials stuck out their hands to shake Pete's hand. And Pete, at the order of his coach, did not do it. And neither did Mark. And when they got back to the team after game meeting, Grant was just messing with him. But it proved that they would listen.
They were loyal.
They were loyal.
How did it make Pete feel? Was that a pretty cool experience for him?
Pete had so much respect for Bud Grant. They have been friends ever since. And matter of fact, Pete later on has leaned on Bud for advice in certain situations, and to this day, they are still in contact periodically.
Very close friends. Even though Pete said that was so uncomfortable for him to not shake the ref's hands, but he was following orders because he respected Bud Grant, and how could you not?
Let's get to fun fact number 2.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Dennis Green and Pete Carroll. Not sure many people know this. They were the finalists to be hired as the next Viking coach after Jerry Burns retired following the 1991 season. Bud Grant, who had remained as an advisor to the team, told ownership his choice would be Pete Carroll.
That would have been a great choice. Great choice. But we got him. Thank goodness.
Ownership ultimately picked Denny Green largely because he had been a head coach at Stanford, while Carroll had been nothing higher than an assistant coach. I agree with you, Cap. I will say this. I'm not sure Randy Moss would have been a Viking if Pete Carroll was the coach.
Why you say that?
Because Denny Green took a chance on Randy Moss. I mean, he fell to us.
Pete Carroll, if you check his history, he takes chances on guys. He definitely does that. Bruce Irvin comes to mind right now, where he had some things kind of going on.
Josh Gordon too, right? Didn't you guys give Josh Gordon a
they
shot?
gave him a few shots, and those are just two off the cuff examples.
Okay, yeah, I was just when you got to tie Randy Moss with Denny Green at some point because that's when he was drafted. So you're probably right. Probably right. It was just fell in their laps, and
Hey, Randy did his thing.
He did his
He got his chance and he did his thing. So hats off to him.
Okay, this next one's really fun. Fun fact number 3.
I know you gonna dig this.
After the game was over, we shouldn't have been hungry because we had an hour after the game.
Yeah.
But, while they still had the beverage station open, they were definitely pulling that food away pretty fast. So we said, we're hungry. So we stopped to get some wings at a place called Barria. And there was this woman. Cap, did you get her name?
I did. Her name was Yuso. Yuso.
All right, that was her last name.
Okay.
Which is fine.
Okay, good. I don't
So-
have the first name. Sorry.
That's fine. And the reason we have to clarify that is because when I tell you who she actually is, it's amazing that we actually ran into this person. She was dressed up like a Norse woman, horned helmet, animal fur,
Yep.
and war boots, and not much else. And she was actually the granddaughter of the first player to ever sign with the Vikings organization,
Historical.
Frank Uzo. He was a right tackle who asked for a release from the Giants so he could play for his hometown team. I thought that was pretty amazing. What are the chances of that, Cap?
Slim to none.
Mike, that's almost like the story I told you about my mother that time. You just can't make, when you run into people and you just can't make it up, right? I accidentally ran into my mother in like the middle of the country when I had to change hotels, and I didn't realize she was driving through that part of the country, and it was just like, wow, how did this happen?
Sometimes things just happen. And
Yes.
that was absolutely one of those moments because I couldn't believe it when she said that. And then it was confirmed.
Exactly.
Another scourger to the core.
All right, this brings me to my question of the week, Cap. But before I do that, is there anything else you want to touch on?
You know, I just want to touch on our defense a little
Yeah,
bit. You
yeah.
know, last episode I kind of went after Shane Waldron, our offensive coordinator, and I came at him from a place of love, of course, and respect. But he responded. You know, I got on him about getting Chris Carson the ball, getting our tight end group involved in the ball game. He did. He fed Chris Carson. He got the tight ends involved, and he got Tyler some help by letting DK.
Disley made a great play. One for 36. He only had one, but that was 30. That was a 36. That was a big game.
That's right. He did have one for 30. It was 39 yards, I think. And Everett had 5 catches for 54 yards. So combined, they had 12 catches for, or excuse me, who had the 12 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown? That might have been
Metcalf.
That might have been that was DK.
Yep.
And so anyway, he got those guys involved in the game, and you know the fact that we only had the ball for a short amount of time and was competitive until the second half was impressive. So in fairness to him, I got to jump on Ken Norton a little bit. Now it's hard for me to get mad at him because I know him as a player, and I know he's not telling anybody to play passive and anybody to give a 30-yard cushion. There's no way he's saying that or to not get sacks and to screw up your contain. But we have to get off the field, and we have to get off the field on third down. Now, great defenses have 3 common traits, brother. And you know these very well. They stop the run, they create turnovers, and they get off the field on third down.
No penalties.
If they're getting off the field on third down, they're not really. Yeah, you got to throw penalties in there in every level. And then the fourth thing they do, I didn't note this up, is they have fun because they're doing those first 3. And there's 4 teams I want to mention that did that historically. There's more, but the first one I want to touch base on is the 1971 Purple People Eaters. Are you familiar with them?
Absolutely.
They did all of that. The 1976 Steel Curtain did it. The 2000 Baltimore Ravens did it. And the 2013
Seahawks.
beloved Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom version of defense did it as well.
39 turnovers that year.
Right. So that's what we need to get back to. Just use the basics, do what you do, and hold it down. Because if we don't do that, we're going to have problems. But we have the talent to do that.
So are you telling me Ken Norton's on notice? Is that what you're
No. Ken's not on notice, not by me. But I guess got to let him know.
You want me to put him on- you want me to put him on notice?
I'm paying attention. I don't want to have to send a real deal after him, but I'm paying attention, and I want to see these guys ball out. They're playing. You know, you got to play with more aggression on defense. And I played split in, and I played defensive back, and I could deal with the press coverage when it came up, but you don't really want nobody up in your grill like that on a regular basis. defensive backs need to get up in these receivers' grills on the perimeter and make them earn it. They got a 5-yard cushion. Get in their way. Throw that timing off. Do what you can and hope the defensive front, does their job. They put that together, which they will. You're going to see a big difference in our D.
Yeah, you guys got a tough matchup coming up.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Can't wait to get there.
Good. So, speaking of people who listen to the show, I ran into somebody today in our real world.
Yes, you did.
And want to give a shout out to Jay Jones.
Big Jay Bird.
Jay Bird came into the building and said, I got to get this document over to somebody. I said, I'll take it. And I was walking away. He goes, is that the real deal? I said, yes, it is, Jay. Anyway, good man.
Real good man.
Glad he's a listener.
Yep.
And shout out to Jay.
My brother from another mother.
All right, let's get to the question of the week. Hey, Cap.
Yes, let's get it. You want mine first?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you go. Go ahead.
All right, this is going to be hard for you because there's a whole bunch of them. But what was the coolest thing you experienced in our trip to Minnesota?
I almost have the same question.
Are you serious?
What was the coolest thing I experienced? I thought the snow was because it was unexpected, was really cool. I'm not sure it overshadows the win.
Yeah, if we would have won that game, that's obviously the best experience.
Yeah, I don't. The tour was great. The tour helped us know where to enter the stadium. The tour gave us get some pictures we couldn't have got. But the live action. You know what? My favorite. You know what it was? It was the tickets and where we sat.
Okay.
It was we could see the whole. We could get to the whole experience from where we sat and where we were. I think the location. They always say, what is it? Location, location, location.
Yep.
I think it was the location, Kevin.
No, it was an excellent location. That was a beautiful spot to be at.
But you know what? Minnesota nice too.
Yeah, that was impressive.
impressive.
Everyone except for the one, individual who's
Chucklehead,
pretty
I like
selfish. Yeah, it was everybody was just great.
It was So I'm going to take location, but it doesn't win by much.
Okay, that's good. That's a good fair answer because there was a lot of high marks there.
A lot of high marks. You want the low mark?
No.
Okay. That was walking 18 blocks the wrong way.
Yeah.
That was the low mark.
That was.
But we recovered.
We did.
We made it on time to the tour.
We're both fit enough
And you know
to
what?
get it
Think
done.
of it like this. If we had gotten there, because we would have got there 20 minutes earlier, we might not have been with Fred and had that many photo ops.
Things happen for a reason. I'm telling you.
We got to sit in front of the press speakers and with the Viking background and take a couple cool pictures there. It was fun.
It was nice.
All right.
Good
My
time.
question of the week is very similar. Mine is, Cap, what was your favorite part of the trip?
I think my favorite part of the trip was the game itself. There were a ton of things that led up to it. It was like this big climax that you're building up to. And then, watching our team come out, getting booed and all that, which I expect on the road. And then the way the Vikings came out where they had that Viking ship with the front door slamming down onto the ground. The music changes, that third down horn thing that was being played a lot because you guys had a lot of third downs that you actually were pretty successful on. And then, them running out, and then it snowed again when they came off the ship.
Absolutely.
So to me, that was like, it's game time right now. And that was
good event.
That
They
was
put on a
really
good show.
fun. They did. They did put on a great show. Our guys played hard they played hard, but they didn't get it done because there was just not a lot of cohesion. And I think that's definitely going to change. But the Soldiers look good, and so did the Vikings.
Okay. Let's go.
Yo, it's time for the picks, the weekly predictions by them guys. Get your notebooks out because they rarely miss. Make way for Captain Vuk. When he makes his picks, you can't touch this dude. Reppin' Hawks in the Emerald Nation. All units, battle stations. So welcome to the Battle Zone. It's a place where Captain Vuk is never alone. With his guy Be-Gold by his side, sporting purple, always ready to ride. He's a real Vikings maniac, never afraid to go on the attack. And when needed and comes the real deal, he's got a real feel for NFL skill. So listen close and get the word. Don't be the one who hadn't heard about Captain Vuk and Be-Gold. Dropping knowledge, truth be told. Peep the picks. Battle tested. Peep the picks. Battle tested.
All right, let's get, as we're winding things down here, let's get to the season prediction record. After 3 weeks, here's the results. Cap, you went 9-5 this week.
Yeah, I don't like losing at all. So those 5 hurt me, but
Still a
it's
good week.
respectable, and we got work to do. But I'll take that.
Yeah, and you went into this, you went into this with a 2-game lead. You're now 32 wins and 14 losses for the season.
3 weeks of work. That's good work.
That's pretty good work. That's 70%. 7 out of 10 you're getting, Cap.
You know how we do it.
The real deal. He went 12-3 this week. And I am also sitting at 32 wins and 14 losses. Again, 70%. Now you ask, how come we seem to be 1 game off? Because somehow we forgot to predict the Falcons versus the Giants on our last episode. Now
it's not because we didn't think they were going to actually play football
right,
that day.
exactly.
That's not why.
And I think we'd both talked about it and both picked the Falcons, but we weren't going to throw that onto our win column if it wasn't actually on the episode.
And plus, the real deal wouldn't allow that because we keep it real here.
Exactly. So we're now tied, and we'll see what happens next week. What I need you guys to do, it's time for you to pay attention and make some money. We're 7 out of 10.
High percentage, just being honest.
High percentage. All right, close things out with a fantasy football update. The real deal rolled again, 170-89, a beatdown, and it's now 2-1, holding down first place in the East Division. Cap's team, located in the West Division, Destiny's Travelways, he was beaten pretty badly, 138-69, and is now 1-2. And he's bringing up the rear in the West Division. But Cap, I do have another question for you. You got any lineup changes on the horizon?
Yes, we do. Absolutely. You want to hear about them now or what?
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, we're 1-2, and we got chin checked. But you know what? So are the Seahawks. They're 1-2. They got chin checked, and we got week 4 coming up. So we're gonna just forget about week 3. Go to week 4. Starting Russell Wilson as QB1 against the Niners. Prepare yourself. Running back Kenyon Drake. Las Vegas Raiders. He's going to get it done. Running back Javonte Williams. Yes, Denver. Made some switches there. Wide receiver Devontae Smith from Philly. He's in. Wide receiver CeeDee Lamb from Dallas. He's never going out. Flex Jalen Waddle. This is his first start for this season. He's going to ball out for me. He's my Miami guy. Tight end Kittle. I'm going to keep an eye on him. He's got a little calf problem, but I'm keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, I saw that he was on the injury report.
Yeah, defense, I'm still riding with them Seahawks, so I'm going to keep riding with them, period. And my kickers, Ryan Suckup, Tampa Bay, they always put points on the board, so
All right, cool.
Go with them.
I had to ask you about that because I'm not changing my lineup.
why would you?
I think the only thing I did do I didn't report on was I've been rotating the defenses. I did cut the Vikings defenses. I think I picked up Carolina for 1 week, and I think New Orleans for the other week.
You cut whose defense?
The Vikings.
Are they on the roster or are they cut?
Oh, they're cut.
Did you talk to the Scolders about that?
No, I talked to the real deal. He
said, "Do it."
He said, "Go ahead." He said, "We got to win."
He said, cut the
He said,
cord.
we got to win. I'm out for a championship. All right.
hear you.
So, Scolders, 12s, and all you football fanatics, thanks for tuning in today. And get the word out on the street to check out all of our episodes. The trip to Minnesota was epic, and I received a bonus by the Vikings taking care of business. We needed that win badly. All right, programming note. Now that we have 8 episodes under our belt and are able to turn them around quicker for release, we can now move our recording of the episodes to the actual week of the games instead of a week and a half earlier. This is a great move. This will allow us to gather more information of how teams and players are trending. Cat, as you do always, bring us home.
So, Scolders, it was great meeting you. You were a magnificent host, and we appreciate that. Destiny Travelways will bring me and B Gold back to your treasure-rich lands eventually. To my 12s, the Seahawks, and the entire Emerald Nation. Heads stay up, eyes on the prize. No fear, no doubt. the Hawks are on the rise. So until we meet again, have a great weekend to all our listeners, old and new. Go Scolders, and of course, go Hawks. Peace.